Mm. Hi, how are you? Hi, hi. Do. How is? You're in pain. You're still in pain, huh? That is no good. No good. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'll show you my cup. You're going to love it. Who else is there? Well, I mean, I am sorry that you're feeling that, actually, because I fully get it. I do. I'm going to hang on a few minutes. I'm a little early. Hey, Chica, how are you? I'm going to do the drawing for the prizes. Hi. Two more. Hang on. How's everybody? I'm going to bring Rebel in. Give me just a second, Rebel. Just going to do the drawing here. That way no one can think I'm cheating. I have to do it in a fair way. I'll show you the cup. My son's boyfriend's mother and his sisters and things like that do a online, or not an online, they do a business actually. If I ever have a storefront, they're like, we'll give you some stuff to put in there, or they'll rent stuff. But yeah, she had that. And then I got Rebel and myself this shirt. I can't explain it. You'd have to see it. So maybe I'll go get it in a minute. It's like a cat, and it has rainbows coming off of their tongue, and it says, lesbians eat. What? So it's pretty cute. Hey, Dan, how are you? So it's pretty funny. Hi. Give me a second here. Need a few minutes. Yeah, I feel that. Okay. I need that cap. Yeah, I don't know. You have to shoot me a message. I got myself, and then I knew Rebel would want the shirt because I saw it and I was like, oh shit. So I got that, and then that cup, I was like, nope, it's mine. As soon as I saw it, I was like, not mine. No, you're good. You're good. I'm finishing up the names in the bowl. And then I'll pull Rebel in. Okay, so there's going to be several prizes. You need to know how to get one. So I think they're like $38 or $40. It's a ginormous cup though. She has all different kinds of ones. But, I mean, all this is on the cup, and she could probably do all different kinds, but the top has like this part, and then it has the straw too. So I was in love with it as soon as I saw it. There are smaller ones too, but I was like, nah, I want that one. Well, Maureen, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. How are you, Maureen? I hope you're doing okay. All right, so the way I'm going to do it is this. I am going to pull 5 names, okay? And out of the 5 names, then I will pull first prize, second prize, third prize, and then 2 runner-up prizes, okay? Because Nadine and I will get together and put together the packages and stuff like that. So we raised $175 to go towards, Maureen, I appreciate you. $175 to go towards the retreat, which is amazing. Helps me in so many ways. Hey, how are you? I'm glad to see you. So I'm going to crunch all these up and find me I'll do it in a bag, and so we did raise that money, which is amazing. I will use that and keep that. And for anybody, you know, towards the end that can't come, that really wants to come and things like that. So I am very happy with that. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to, you know, the people that are going to the retreat. So what I'm going to do is there's 5 prizes. First prize is a $250 gift pack that is from me and Miss Nadine, Butterfly Spirit Creations. And second prize is $100 from us. Third prize is $50, and then I'm doing 2 additional surprises. That is what we're doing. So, and we'll do some other odds and ends too. But let me fold all these up that way. You know, I have it in here. How is everybody? I see a lot of old people, not old like my age old, but like, you know, long time ago people coming in. Welcome in. All right, so almost done here. So I'm going to pull 5 names, and then I'll put the 5 names into here again, and then I will draw from those names. You see, I see old people. So that's what we'll do. But like I said, we did raise $175 towards the retreat to help someone who may not be able to go. We'll do some other things, odds and ends going forward as soon as I get some of this stuff handled that I'm handling. All right, Chris is not. Hey, how are you? Tell Joe he needs to come to the retreat. All right, you ready? You ready? All right, 5 names. Of these 5 names, they'll go all back in, and we will go from there. Okay. All right. Number 1 is Tracy. Okay, Tracy. Number 2 is Jen. Number 3 is Elaine. Number 4 is Crystal. Number 5 is Jen, but I'm not going to let people win twice. Not right now. I'm sorry. But you won something. I just don't know what. This next one is Rebel. Okay, so there's 5. So we have Tracy, Elaine, Jen, Rebel, and Crystal. I'm going to empty these out. Jen, I'm doing the drawing. You won one of the prizes. I'm redrawing now to find out which one you win. And if you didn't win and you're disappointed, well, you never know. You might get something from me. All right. No worries. All right. So we're going to do do you want to do backwards, like smallest to biggest, or do we want to do biggest to smallest? Which one? We're going to do a live, paranormal live here in just a minute. Rebel's going to jump on with me as soon as I do this. I just promised I'd do it, and if I don't do it, then I'm going to forget. Biggest first, smallest first. Smallest to biggest. Okay, are we ready? Smallest to biggest. Smallest. All right, this is for one of the runner-up prizes. One of the runner-up prizes is Tracy. Prize number 5. Okay, prize number 5 is for Tracy. Prize number 4 is Crystal. Oh, I need to write that. Prize number 4. Right, prize number 3. Prize number 3 is Rebel. Number 3, that's the $50 gift box. Prize number, okay, so there's only 2 left, right? There's only 2 left. So somebody gets number 2 and somebody gets number 1. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? All right, so number 2 is Jen. Number 2 is Jen. Jen, you get a $100 gift box from me, and you go number 2. Good job. Yay, good boy. Or good girl. Good job. Okay, Jen, you got prize number 2. And that leaves Elaine. You have prize number 1. You get a $250 gift box from me and Butterfly Spirit Creations. Congratulations. Congratulations. Those will be out in the next week, not tomorrow, probably. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for supporting it. So we will do more. We will do more, and we'll do some smaller ones, and then we'll do some bigger ones as well. Oh, that's funny. All right. So those are that. I have that taken care of. I'm going to pull Rebel in, and we're going to do some paranormal. And she is absolutely welcome. I just didn't know. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm okay. Is Jen, do you want to come in? I know you have the grandkids, so I didn't want to be like, and Jen's coming in. Your mom's celebrating.
What's up, everybody?
Say hi to Rebel.
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Shelby.
Hi, Shelby.
Hey, Nadine.
Jen, you wanting to come in? I just want to make sure. Okay. I was like, I know you got grandkids, and I know sometimes they take up the everything. Hi.
Hi, guess what?
Hey.
I could go live.
Oh, good. I was like, I don't know. I get it. I do. I was like, are the kids coming over tonight or not? I need to know. That way I can plan my whole life, So
I think I got them settled for a minute. So yeah, we're good.
Shelby got excited. I sent Shelby Blend Your Spirit shirt.
Oh, cool.
Stephanie's daughter. So she loves to hear us talking about her online.
Hey, Chica.
Hey, Chica. So I'm having the ladies in tonight. They went on an investigation, and I thought if you guys have questions, they can kind of just talk to you about what they got to do and maybe the history of it. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the ones that didn't know that me and Jen had the privilege of going to the Bell Witch Cave here in Adams, Tennessee. We got to lead an investigation with another couple other paranormal groups. You know, they were putting it on the whole thing. They invited us to come and facilitate portion of the investigation, which was amazing. Um, yeah. What do you want to say about it, Jim?
Yeah. It was really cool. That was the first time I've done a live investigation, so I wasn't quite sure what all was going to happen. I mean, I know we feel things, we have spirits come and go, but this is like a generalized find out what happens. And so it was really a really cool experience to go and see some of the things that we did see.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and you saw a little bit more than I did, but
but
with the history, when I first started doing the research on it, because I went to their public investigation just as, anybody else could last year. And so I started doing a lot of research, and I found out that there's a couple of different legends that go with this. One is that a neighbor of the Bell family, they got into a feud, like they shared property lines. And from what I understood was the neighbor was using a portion of the Bell family's land. And then they got into a feud, ended up in court and all this other stuff. And that the neighbor had cursed the Bell family. And that's why this so called witch started haunting them. Now, with the history of it, the daughter was the one that was most physically affected, during all the activity.
How long ago was it, or like just guesstimated time frame, like when it was
So
initially
it's
first?
1817 to 1821
Oh wow, okay.
that they were experiencing the haunting. Um, like I said, the daughter had a lot of the physical stuff, like being picked up, thrown across the room,
Oof.
like all sorts of stuff. But the other legend of it is that where the cave is located, you have to go down like a ravine to get into the cave. The top side of the cave is believed to be the native burial grounds.
Okay.
So it's believed that John Bell Jr., the son, found a skull in the burial area, brought it back home.
Oh.
Of course, John Bell Sr. found out about it and told him to return it immediately and like all this stuff.
Right.
Well, it was stated that John Bell Jr. dropped the skull and one of the teeth fell out and went into the porch. So even though he replaced it, back where it was, that's also the other side of the legend, that him disturbing those burial grounds and everything and it not being fully, together when he took it back is what started all of that.
That I would have a demolition crew right there. I'm gonna find that bad boy and take it back.
Right,
Yep.
right. And when you're there, they talk about how there's a certain tree line at the burial grounds that you can start walking towards it and it feels like it's pulling you in closer. But once you get to a certain point, you feel like you're being pushed back. So that was really weird to me, was you feel being drawn in closer to the tree line, but the closer you got, at a certain point you start feeling like you're being pushed backwards. Jen, did you feel that?
yeah, and that was where I kept hearing humming. I heard a woman humming And so it was like drawing me to the trees because she was over there and she's like, "Mm, mm, mm." And she's just humming this song. And you're like, okay, where's she at? Where's she at?
Right.
There's no woman there. And then all of a sudden you get, whoa. And it's like, don't go. And it was like, oh, I'm going to just stop right here. But you could still hear her. And so it was really weird.
That's interesting. It's like with you describing it that way, it sounds like, the back ends of a magnet pushing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like push you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it feels. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The closer you got and you hit that certain point, it was like, nope, like you need to go back there. But yet it lures you in at the same time.
That's interesting. That's
You
interesting.
know, so they believe that there's an elemental,
Hmm.
that protects those burial grounds
Yeah,
in that tree line.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
And I mean the way it feels, I would feel like it would be an elemental.
Right.
Yeah. And they said that even now with that drawing, the other side of those trees is a straight drop off. It's a cliff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then the cave is right there. So they said it's happened once or twice where they've come and there's a deer laying there that has run over the edge because it was drawn out there and it just kept going just straight through the trees and that's that. But the Indians would run the deer that way off the cliff so it was easier for them to gather
Stored meat in the
food.
cave.
And then the cave was right there. They'd take them in the cave and it kept their meat cool. It didn't rot. So it was really cool to put those two together, but you're like,
Right.
but it's still trying to draw people off the edge. It's still drawing deer off the edge. So it was really cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. It reminds me of the story of the Apache tear, the crystal, where soldiers ran the Native Americans off the cliff
Yeah,
because,
the Apache Falls.
yeah. So I was like, oh, that's what that sounds like to me. That's interesting.
Yeah, I
What?
got to see that in person when I was in Arizona.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got pictures of it. I mean, they
That's
have a big white cross that sits up there for a memorial and all sorts of stuff.
that's interesting. What are some of the experiences that you guys had while you were there trying to lead the investigation?
I'll let Jen tell her experience. So we got there a little bit earlier than the guests did. That way we could walk Jen around, show her the cave, show her the replica of the house, and then show her the burial grounds. And I'll let her
So,
describe what she saw.
so we get there at first, we get into the very first room and there's a little indentation in the rock that has rocks around it where there was an infant Indian child that was buried. And there back behind it, there's like this little cave cut out. And I kept thinking, there's a guy back here. I feel him. I like know he's there. And so I was kind of okay, feeling it out. And we went to walk through the rest of the cave, and checking everything out. And we're getting back there, and I'm looking on the rock, and I'm like, I see this Indian squatting, looking over the edge. And he's got his hands on his knees, and he's just squatted, and he's watching over the edge. I could see him in my camera, and I'd take a picture, and I could look up and see him. And I'm like, I see you there. I see you here. The picture would not take of him. And I'm like, I see you. And they're both like, what are you doing, John? I'm like, there's an Indian guy sitting right here. You don't see here, he's right there.
There he is.
And she just stopped and she's like,
That's some stuff I would do.
what are
Probably.
you doing? What are you seeing over there?
So like, where'd he go? I could see him and I could see him through my phone, but when I took a picture, he didn't show up. But he was right there. And it's like I felt him following me all night. So it was
Right.
kind of like, okay, come on. Let's just hang out.
Hi. We're just here to be nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And during the investigation, we put out some cat balls. I had the pear lantern, the scare bear. We had a tripwire and a REM pod set up from the other team. And as we're sitting there, so they had Jen and most of the female participants that came that night sit on the ledge. And so the cave has two different rooms, the first one with the burial site that's in the cave, and then the second room. So we were all in the first room, and they had Jen and most of the women sit down on the rock right there.
Mhm.
And we went complete blackout. We were standing there, we were doing EVPs to where they call it an EVP 360. So instead of just one person asking questions just randomly,
Mhm.
what we would do is we would repeat the same question. Everybody would repeat the same question and then allow, an answer time between questions,
Okay.
like a blank space. So if we heard anything, and we did that, and right after we did that, you heard like three thuds that sounded like footsteps. So Jen, with that footsteps being behind her, she turns around and she snaps pictures in that area.
Uh-huh.
So we keep going. We then turn on Necro. We're sitting there trying to communicate with whatever was there. And the name Kate came through Necro, which was the name of the neighbor of the Bells that, like I said in that first legend, that they were the ones feuding.
Okay.
So
Is she the
her
one that
name,
cursed the bells?
right,
Supposedly.
right. So her name came through, and then we didn't get a lot of, like any other corresponding, communication through Necro, so we turned it off.
Mhm.
Well, then we went blackout, completely silent, just to listen. And the gentleman that was hosting, the investigation, he's standing to my left. And of course, like I said, we're all completely just silent. You hear footsteps or the rocks in the cave like shuffling as if someone was walking on the rocks. Well, we didn't know it at the time, but later on that night, he pulled me and Jen aside
Mhm.
and said that when he heard those footsteps, he was literally like bent completely over as if something was pushing him down.
Oh.
Like he was bent over when we heard that shuffle. And we thought it was him just kind of like, readjusting his stance. He
Right.
said he hadn't moved
Mm.
and that something was forcing him to go down.
So when people hear this shuffling, does anybody say anything, or is anyone just quiet?
Well, Jen,
Yeah,
when we
we
heard the rock shuffle and we realized we had said something, because we were like, "Was that you?" And he was like, "No, that was not me." So
The
then at that
kitty would have been
point,
like, "Ah!"
and then at that point, Jen starts taking photos in that direction. Let me see if I
And
can.
and Rebel had said, "There's something right behind me. I feel it." And I was like, "Okay, flash, guys. It's pitch black, so you're all gonna go blind. So flash, flash,
Right,
flash," and
right.
it started popping pictures. So
Nice.
So let's
figure out
see.
green screen.
I'm trying. I've never done
Yeah, I haven't ever
the
done the green
green
screen before.
screen.
Good time to figure it out, then, I guess.
Okay, so
Right?
this was the first footsteps that we heard that was behind Jen and the rest of the women sitting there. So this
Which
is the
the
first photo that she
yeah.
took.
To the right of the bear is where the baby was laid. That's the baby's grave.
Yeah, that's
So the
that's
bear's at the
when
foot of it. And then further back is where the cave is that the Indian came out of earlier when we
So is
first
this the
got there.
first room? Is the
This is,
first
yeah,
room?
yeah, this is
yeah,
in the
it's the
first
first room.
room.
Okay.
So that's the first photo that she took.
Okay.
This is the second photo.
I like this one. Yeah.
So if you notice at the very top, I don't know if it's going to let me right here.
Mhm.
We don't know what that is. And it doesn't look like a normal orb. You know what I mean? Because usually they're round. So this one's more like a rod.
And this
And
was taken in the dark, right? In complete darkness.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Which
we
one?
were still in the complete darkness. And then this one here is the third photo.
Okay.
So it looks just like the first one. So that orb appeared on the second photo. So when we heard the footsteps behind us,
I turned to Rebel. Instead of shooting
yeah,
behind me, I turned back to Rebel and I was like, I feel something over here. So I'm like, okay. So there's Rebel.
yeah. So that's the first photo because that's when we heard the footsteps by me. When I kept saying, I feel like something's behind me. Like I feel like something is standing behind me, just like, what's up? And then we heard that. And then this is again the second photo.
I love that. That's so interesting.
And that was, like I said, right after I said, I feel like something's standing behind me, and we had heard the shuffling of the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the third photo. It's gone.
Okay.
So it was just coming in to say, hey.
Yeah, and then after that we moved to the
One of the
second
girls,
room.
yeah, one of the girls that was sitting right next to me, she was like, there is a man like right behind us. And I was like, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Because we hadn't said anything to anybody about what we had felt earlier. We just kind of
Right.
were like, yeah, well, there was an Indian down there and whatnot, no big deal. But we didn't tell them where. So then when we got down there, she's like, he's there, he's like right here. And I'm like, yeah, same.
That's neat. I like that.
So it was really cool.
What is the story? Because I know I've heard it before about the rocks or something being taken from the cave.
Yeah, so we actually asked the owner while we were in the gift shop, like, how many rocks have y'all gotten back? Because people will go in there on because they do daily tours. You can take the tour, hear about the history and everything like that. Um, but there have been people that take the rocks out of the cave and they will literally mail them back with stories of things that have happened since they took the rock, that they wanted to apologize, they wanted to put the rock back. You know what I mean? Like they get it all the time. Like all the time. And that's
Don't take
one
rocks.
reason.
Don't take anything.
Yeah, that's one reason I will never take anything at any location because they will follow you home.
Yeah.
Especially if that's their invitation by you taking the item,
Yeah.
they're gonna hop on it and they're gonna go with you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part about it? About the whole night?
I'll let you go, Jim.
All of it, but
All of it.
tree, the tree. When we went up to the Indian burial ground, and before we, went to do the tree line and whatnot, there's a tree up there that half of it's dead and half of it's alive. But when you go up and you feel it on the dead side, it was weird because when I was feeling it, and I didn't think about it when you asked me what I was feeling, like yeah, he's totally right. I put my hand on the dead side, and I was like, wow, it's like pulling my hand, but it's not really. It didn't feel alive. And then I dropped him to ground like 2 inches, and I was like, oh, it's literally pulling me to the roots, pulling to the roots. And I walked to the other side, and I felt there, and it was just like crackle, 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 crackle. Like it was just like alive, like fireworks going off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put my hand in between the two, and you could feel it going back and forth, back and forth. And so people say it's like a heartbeat, which it totally is, because it's just like flowing between the dead sides alive, back and forth. That was really awesome.
Love that.
Yeah, I would say out of both times I've been there, that tree is one of the because it's weird because like she said, it's to me Like when I felt the dead side, you felt the energy from it. But when you touched the live side, it was almost like waves,
Yeah.
coming off. And it was, I really don't know how to explain it. But fireworks is a good, fireworks is a good, but I mean, you totally feel the difference on
Yeah.
each side. It's crazy.
That's interesting. I love that. You guys like that?
And then we went, so we had, I think it was 6 or 7 people
Yeah.
that came that night. And because we were such a small group, they took us to what they called the Haunted Dell, which is actually where they have a memorial that marks the place of the original home. And of course, it's like a field. And when we got out there was no fog in this field whatsoever. But no, I'd say not even 10 minutes that we got to that area. The fog had rolled in so thick. Like let me see. I might be able to show y'all the picture of it.
Yeah, it was cool. It was just like this layer of fog. Covered everything.
Did the fog feel heavy, or was it just energy?
I would say it's kind of both.
Yeah, there were some parts that were like heavy, so you take pictures, and it's really hard to see if there's things in them or not. I know he got a picture of a bright white. I mean, it looks like a figure of a human standing in the middle of the fog.
Oh wow!
And one of the other girls got a good picture too of a couple figures that were in the fog, and then but it just rolls away. They just like pop up and then they're gone. So it was, yeah. So it was cool.
That's neat.
But yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so the fog rolled in, and we were probably there, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
And before we left, the fog was gone.
Wow. And that's not normal. Usually the fog
right. And we
sun
all
comes out.
noticed that it, because usually once it rolls in, it'll kind of, linger for a little bit. And then, but it was like a 30-minute window. Like it rolled in when we got there. And then right before we left, it was gone.
It just rolled out.
Wow.
And we were hearing things in the tree line. So we started taking photos of the tree line.
Which these were so different between mine and Rebels. It was crazy.
So these are Jen's.
Right, the movie The Fog, yeah, is kind of what it was.
So that's the first photo. Jen, you want
to? This the one where the thing comes down across the tree?
I think
I can't
so.
remember if I sent them all to you. So, like, I think this was up where the woman was humming. This picture was up where the woman was humming. And so I just started snapping pictures over in that direction. And there's like a tube that comes down. It looks like a tube that just comes down in front of the tree. All of a sudden, it was like, okay. And then it wasn't there again. So,
peekaboo.
I think I sent them all. Maybe in the third picture. I know one of them, it was like
that's the second one.
It's up at the top right where you see it in front of the tree. I don't remember how many.
That'd be me. I'd just take and take and take and take is what I would do.
I was too busy feeling everything out to the point to where I didn't hardly have my phone out at all.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Like I was just kind of in the moment, feeling everything out, and I was just, I don't know, like I did more EVPs than I did photos this time.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And then this one I find very interesting. This is another one Jen took.
Ooh.
Yes, and this was up in the haunted dell. There's a place where they have rocks that are set up, and they're not sure why they were put the way they were. That we don't know if they're burial places or if it was like altars that are in the woods. But this popped up, and when it came, it was changing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even thought about it.
Right.
And this is in the same place that Rebel took pictures, and hers are totally different.
Yeah,
This is like
mine
yeah,
popped up with like purple lights in the
yeah,
trees.
Hmm.
yeah. So this is zoomed in on the one that the
Definitely
series.
be there.
And
Yeah.
then this is the second photo of it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely energy there.
And then here's the third one.
I think we're going back. Anyway, I don't know.
Oh, is that backwards?
It might be, but that's best.
And then mine look like this. Where's it at? Where are they? I don't know if y'all be able to see these. Why are you not showing up?
Stephanie's, you like it?
It was really fun. There we
And
go.
there were no light sources.
Yeah.
Out there.
And it's funny because my pictures in the same area were white.
Yeah.
I had little white, but tiny white lights. And Rebel had all this bright purple pinkish popping out. And she's like, what is going on here? I was like,
Yeah, it looks like a path almost on that one.
it was cool.
Yeah.
And then I got, let's see. Got one like that.
Isn't that crazy the difference that you guys have in your pictures?
And we were standing right next to each other.
Yeah, that's what's
That's
crazy.
the crazy part.
Taking pictures of the same area. So it was like,
what? How does
Wait
that
a minute.
happen?
Yeah.
What is with your pictures being purple? Mine are just this white,
Yeah.
whatever. And yeah.
Right. But yeah,
So-
and even the other, paranormal team was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Because they would take pictures and it would turn out like Jen's, but yeah, we were taking pictures all at the same settings
Time.
on our phone.
Yeah, it's
In the
interesting
same area.
because, with eyes, everybody's going to catch something different, but there's no rhyme or reason why you
The
would.
camera is capturing totally different things. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And another interesting thing was they told us with the burial ground that, so initially when I went last year, I took my SLS camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it into the cave and I turned it on and I set it up while we were doing the investigation to see if anything was standing behind them. And within like 10 minutes, the battery just died. It wouldn't turn on anymore. It wouldn't do anything. Like the tablet was fine, but the actual, thing, it just would not power on whatsoever. So I ended up putting it back in the car. And they told me that a lot of times when they bring equipment out, that it kills the battery immediately. So they had a friend that had the ground penetrating radar, because they were wondering how many graves might be atop the hill, with the natives being there. So they asked him to come out. Everything was charged. Everything was like 100%. He gets out there and it is completely dead.
Wow.
So when that happened, they took dowsing rods out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they started walking around finding these areas, and they were marking the areas Well, finally, the guy with the radar comes back out and it works. They found over, what was it, 60 something?
67.
Yeah,
67 small, like 3 by 3 cubes, and then one that was like
10
probably
by
10 by
12 or something like
10,
that.
10 by 12.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, it wasn't like your conventional, 6 by whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it was very small areas. And Jim, didn't you do some
I
research on
did.
how they
I did.
were, how the
Um,
natives were buried back then?
yes. Most of the Indians that were in the area were Cherokee, and then they would break off as they were fighting with settlers and whatnot. They'd break off into smaller tribes and then come up with, their own names and whatnot. But in my research, I found that when they would bury them in a sitting position,
Oh,
and
wow.
they would either wrap them in blankets or they dress them in their best clothes, and then they would put their utensils, their tools, they'd put food, their pipe, tobacco, anything they would need to go into the next journey. They would bury it with them, and they would face them east so that they could always watch the sunrise.
Mm.
And it was believed that by putting them into the earth, because the earth is the mother,
Yeah.
so that way they were closer to the earth, they would connect with the mother, reconnect with her, and come back when the sun rose. So that was their belief. Yes.
I like that. I
And
love
then,
that there's all the beliefs, like, ancient Egypt, they thought that this was just not anything special, living life, that everything was the afterlife. And I love that that is like that as well. I think that that's so fascinating to me. We're so trivial. We like to rob graves, whereas they used to like put everything in the
put
grave.
everything in there.
Yeah.
And with the larger one, I did find out that when a warrior or a chief died, they would take their horse and they would put the horse with them. So they would put the horse down humanely as possible, because that is a life that it has to go back to Mother Earth, you know. So they were very, ritualistic about it, I guess you could say, very spiritual in the way that they did it. But the horse would be buried, and they would be buried in, their full dress with their weapons and everything. And they would bury the horse and the warrior together. So that would be that large one that they found. And it could have been the chief or just their top warrior that was for that tribe.
That's crazy.
So that was really cool to
Yeah.
put that together,
Right.
That's fascinating. I love the differential on burial rites and things like that from different times. Thanks for the gifts, guys. Thank you, Rose. I love that. I think it's weird that they put the horse down, but I mean, I understand, like, someone
Right.
has to, like, take
I
care
mean, I
of
guess
it.
sometimes the horse died with the warrior, but if it didn't, they would bury them with their
Yeah.
horse. So
Right.
Yeah. That way they
I
can
thought
be
that was
relevant.
pretty cool.
that way they had it to ride into the next battle. When the sun rose and they came back, they'd reconnected with Mother Earth, and she brought them back.
That's
They
what I
were
was
ready
gonna
for
say.
the war.
So the thought was
So,
probably that they were always together, life after life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
so it was really cool.
When
to
I
find
go,
out.
you guys are gonna have to be buried with me. That way you can come back with me.
Right?
I
Let's
didn't
go to
make the
New
rules.
Orleans. How about that?
I didn't make the rules. I'm just telling you what they are. If we're gonna come back together, you gotta go in
Gotta
the
do it the
ground.
right way.
Have you heard what they do in New Orleans? Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
do, yes.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but I love the New Orleans the cemeteries and things like that. They're so fascinating to me, but yes, very bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go.
Yeah.
I would love to do graveyard in New Orleans. That would be cool.
Real ghost hunter. Wait, you don't want to go on the ground with me? That's so rude. Why? Come on. That was so funny. Yeah, no, it is definitely interesting for sure. So I love that. I'm so glad you guys jumped on to talk about it. Do you guys have any questions?
Oh, another thing that they did while we were there was the Delco um, Estes. So, if you don't know what Estes is basically someone listens to a spirit box
Mm.
and they have noise canceling headphones on so they can't hear anything other than the spirit box, broadcasting through the speakers. They wear a blindfold so that way it takes your sight away and your hearing is, it's basically sensory deprivation. So
Mm.
you're opening up all the other senses, while you're blindfolded and hearing this spirit box. And what they do is they usually have someone asking questions, and whatever the person listening to the spirit box, they repeat what comes through the spirit box as to answer the questions of whoever's asking. So as if the spirit is literally talking to that person. So the Delco effect is they have come out with goggles that block all light out, but they have a red light in them. And when you wear them, it like you can still see, like you don't have to close your eyes, but you can, like one of the investigators said that the first time she did it, like she had her eyes open and of course had that red light, and of course it's smooth on the lenses,
Mhm.
but she said she could see hands, like a dark shadow of hands coming around these glasses in front of her,
Mm.
as she was listening to the spirit box and looking through these glasses. So they took the people, that had come that night and allowed them to put the glasses on and listen to the spirit box while one of the investigators started asking questions.
Mhm.
That was really cool to see because I didn't realize that they had the goggles out now, to where it still allows you to see things within that red light,
Mm.
but
Okay.
you don't see past the goggles, if that makes sense,
Yeah, it does. It does. Right.
while you're doing that.
Ms. Tenner says, love the new method, but too many people are faking it now. There's a lot of fake.
Right.
There is, because a lot of people are not using the true noise canceling headphones. They're
Right.
using just regular earpods, and I mean, you can turn it all the way up and still hear the questions being asked.
Or, I mean, there's people that just are making up random stuff.
True, true.
True. We did have some good answers that came through on some of them, and they did correlate with information that was being asked.
Hmm.
So that was cool. And these were all people who had no idea what they were doing. So
Like
it
they
was
had
really cool
never
to
heard of
have.
the method or anything like that, and they had them put on these goggles and just repeat what they heard, and the investigator asking the questions, and it was in a completely separate room.
Yeah.
So where the investigator was and the people they were, because we were in the cabin at the time, so they were in one room and the investigators in the other room asking questions normally but quietly.
Gotcha.
And we were still getting a lot of resonating, answers for the questions that were coming through.
I blame the person in the headphones 100% because if they hear it, they should cancel it. I agree. Yeah, that's fair, but yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Do you guys have any questions? Did you guys like it? They're gonna be back. We're gonna do 2, 3, however many we can get everybody to do. You guys get us questions. We'll do more paranormal lives. We are going to do some dream lives with Miss Jen and several other different lives, and invite guests in to do the fun stuff. So, hey, Shane,
Shanekins.
how's my igloo boy?
Look, I finally got to go live, Shane. It's only been how long? 3 years. Oh.
We're doing it.
We're doing it though.
Take taking over the world. It's fine. Hey, there's Tracy.
Right.
You won one of the prizes, girly.
Woo!
I'm so glad you're breaking out of the igloo.
That's good.
Good.
Proud of you.
They are. See, everybody is. It's good. It's all good.
I know.
Right?
It is.
Yeah, Rose, there is a lot of the fake stuff out there, and that's why I try to keep mine as authentic as I can. I'm not out here for views. I'm not out here for, popularity. Like, my main intention is to help those that are stuck, that may need that help or that boost a little bit. I did post a video in Blend Your Spirit. She talks a little bit about purgatory, but the way she explains it with the different levels of vibrations, that you have the high vibration, which is love. You have the low vibration, which is fear, guilt, shame, anything like that. She said a lot of the earthbound spirits are in that middle vibration. And that a lot of times that they come back to help us to also help them hit that higher vibration so they can move on, and that's where my passion is because they're just like us, just without a physical body, and if you think it's bad being in this body, be stuck somewhere for hundreds of years in that middle vibration of, you can't get out of it, so she really, she kind of puts it into perspective, on the different vibrations and where the people sit on the other side.
I like that. That would make it easy, Frankie. It sure would.
Mm-hmm.
It sure would. It sure would. Yeah, it definitely would. I love about it is, you guys know I'm not a paranormal person. I love, though, my partnership with Rebel, because the things she wants to do on the other side are the things I want to do while you guys are alive.
Right.
So if I can't get to you to help you heal, Rebel will find you on the other side to help you heal.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
right. The goal is to help, you find yourself and live authentically here. But if not, we have Rebel and Jen and everybody else that likes to do that stuff.
Yeah.
What's with the oh no? Oh my goodness! You guys have any questions on anything? You want to do more? Do you like this?
Yeah, give us some topics on what you guys want to hear about.
Hey Loki, thank you.
Welcome to the team.
So we definitely will do more. That's why we need our bus, right? That way we can just go do our thing. And I'll be like, "Hi, are you mourning someone? Let me help you." At the graveyard, and then Rebel's going to be like, "Hey, I'm going to go find and help them." It's a team effort, and Jen's going to take all the pictures and be like, "Hey, you guys, listen."
Right.
I saw.
Yeah.
Everybody.
But it was funny though when you were standing there seeing, the Native American and looking at your phone and looking up and looking at your phone and looking up, and you're like, and I'm like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
It's like when I do this.
Because I look up and they're both over there and they're like, "You good? You seeing something?" And I'm like, "Well, you don't see it? Yeah, it's right there."
So I'm glad you have a reading rainbow. That's your reading rainbow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, those Hunter, I would say to each their own.
Right.
If you want to claim no negative energy from this, state it, because everything's on intentions. So if you feel the need that you need to claim that, go for it. However, I do not choose to do that because I know my boundaries. But at the same time, I mean, if you feel the need to, go for it.
You claim it all. What do you think
Hey,
happens when we die? That is such a big question.
Right. I know. I'm
Right?
like, while it's waiting for conversation to stop. But that is a tough question. I mean, I think we become a different form of energy, but I think that there's lessons that we have to learn. And I think if we haven't learned them, we have to like be cleansed and go, yeah, like a different dimension and find out what those lessons were and then decide whether we're coming back to do the work or we're just going to say, yeah, now send me somewhere else. I don't want to do that again.
I'm all
Well,
right.
and then also
So,
in the video that I posted where she
baby.
talks about the vibrations, she also talks about that movie What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. You know, when his wife gets stuck in that dark place of what most might call purgatory,
Right.
but it's her own doing, just as us sitting here that are struggling with anxiety, depression, whatever, like until we decide that we're going to get ourselves out of that, we sit there and we're stuck in it. I believe the same thing when we go to the other side. You know, if you're stuck in the grief or the shame or the guilt or the depression or whatever the case may be, I think that's where we get stuck. And it's all up to us to get ourselves out of it. And in that movie, once she realizes what she can have, she's then taken back to be with Robin Williams in his heaven. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Yep.
it's kind of really similar to what we deal with emotionally in these bodies here on Earth. I just think, like you said, it's just a different form of energy at that point.
Yeah. I can't say that I actually know exactly what I believe, but I kind of like the idea. This is just an idea that I've heard on the timelines that basically, if something happens in this timeline, you wake up in this timeline. So there's basically the same people that would be mourning you in the prior timeline, but you're awake over here in this one, if that makes sense. And then, like, a lot of times the non-mediumship, you know, when you're not a medium, then that's why you're so close and can pull people through, because you know you're right there so close on either side. But you know, who really knows? But
Right.
real ghost hunter, I do think that I feel like it's that way sometimes. It's kind of like saying, come get me. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
it's almost like tormenting, like, I claim no evil, nothing will ever happen. And then they're like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could see that, but like I said, for me, I set those boundaries from the beginning. So I to each their own. I mean, if
Yeah,
you want to
yeah,
do
it's
it,
kind of
do it.
like if you I like to live in the world. I know not everybody lives in Kittyland, but I like to live in the world that you don't have to you don't always have to voice and explain what you are, what your intentions are. That if you are, usually it'll just speak for itself. Not always, but like most of the time. So many times people will come and say, I am this, I do this, I do this.
Right.
Kittyland. um, but I think that a lot of times people spend so much time trying to convince people that this is who I am and I am this powerful and I can do this. And I'm like, usually if you are, people know. And if they don't, they certainly find out, you know? And so I think when you are, you just are. But
Yeah.
that's my in Kittyland. In Kittyland. We're all crazy here.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't. You're
Oh, Rose.
whatever. So you lost focus. How many of us does it take to get to Walmart on a retreat in the Forerunner?
8 of
How
us.
many do you
At
have in there?
least
8, 9?
8
Yeah.
or 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 of us.
8, yeah, 8.
3 in the front, 3 in the middle, and 2 in the back.
Yep.
We need a bus. That's why.
It was fun though.
So somebody asked me about my necklace. It's the same necklace. It's just different days. It looks different. I couldn't tell you why, but it's tanzanite. It's the same one that I wear every day. Maybe it's my mood. I don't know. Short but hey, I would be okay with the short bus.
Hey, I would too. Means less bus I gotta drive.
We could all fit in there. That's all that
That means
matters.
we can fit, yeah.
We can't take one more person in my Forerunner. I promise. Nobody else.
And the short bus fits in parking spaces. We're good.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, a bus is a bus.
Right.
Is a bus. Rebel's gonna be driving, so it's got to be whatever she wants. Minibus.
Right, that's what I said. Short bus is easier to maneuver.
Right.
We can pack everybody in real easy.
Yeah.
Oh, Kitty, tell Stephanie about the vision that you had about the bus in one of your dreams, where it was half.
Oh, yeah. I had I was like, "Ah!"
I thought I did the same when I read it.
Sorry.
Okay.
I had a.
That's your trigger word around here.
My heart about dropped right out my cooter. Okay, hang on. All right, I'm glad we all got that at the same time. I was like, what?
Okay.
Who says that? Me. Stick around. Okay, so I had a vision of a bus, but half of it kind of was like lightning. Moving on.
Moving
Like
on.
lightning down the bus, and like one side of it was Kitty Lynn, and then the other side was Rebel. And so like one was kind of like her Revelation, like your Phoenix type stuff, and then the other was Kitty's stuff. I have it all written down somewhere. I don't remember the specifics now, but I did at the time for sure.
Hold on.
Do you have it? Okay. I was like, I don't remember.
Get it.
Moving on. I love that we all had the same reaction. Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Oh,
Nice.
I drew a bus for Rebel when I sent her a gift. That's my spaceship coming to get me and my doink. The doinks
That's
look
right.
just like those angels. There's Charlie.
Love it.
Oh, it's funny.
That's nice.
So funny.
You know, I had to save that. I
worked real hard on that. I was so excited. Chris was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm decorating. I'm decorating." A doink. Okay, so you want to hear about the doinks?
Oh, it's a good story. It's a good story.
So I don't know. Okay, this is again Kittyland, right? So when I was probably 13, I had this dream that I was in my mom's living room and I was looking out the back windows, and I looked up at the sky, and the sky looked like it was going by very fast. So all the planets were spinning. They were like 1,000 times bigger, 100,000 times bigger than what they appear now, and they were all spinning, and it was just going by really fast. And then I felt this, what only way I could describe it is like a hair being on fire, just kind of disintegrating. And when I woke up, I was shaped with what I called a doink. It was like an egg with a big eye. But now that I've seen some pictures of angels and things like that, I'm kind of like, because time has passed and stuff, the angels that have the eye and then there's all those things around it. It might have been something like that. I don't know. But anyway, they told me that I had to jump on all these circles. I had to pass this test. So every time I would answer a question correctly, then I would jump forward onto the next circle. And that's the only way I could get to go to wherever, I guess, go back home. And there was like 10 circles in front. And then when I got to the very front, there was like this light tunnel that was up and down. And so once I answered all the questions, I could go into the tunnel and go home. So, but it was shaped like an egg with a big eye in the middle, and kind of, but it didn't have a body. It didn't have a body. It just kind of was an egg.
With one big foot.
Yeah, with a big foot. You like Kittyland?
Fun place.
Yeah, we could do Kittyland. We could do like Candyland and just have little doinks, all different colored doinks.
Have the doink as your little piece to move.
Yeah. He looks like is it the little what's the guy off of Monsters Inc? The eyeball guy.
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah. He didn't quite look like that, but it did. It was very bizarre. Now I've seen some of the pictures of the angels that basically have like a circle, but then there's all the stuff around it, and it kind of looks, that resonates too. So I don't know what I was doing in that dream, but it was something weird. I was taking a test to come back home. I should have failed so I could stay. Instead, I failed the one and had to stay here. Doesn't seem fair. So that's Doinks. Welcome to Doinkland.
Yes.
Any other questions on Doinks or other? Oh, Doinks, yes, Doinks. I know, guys. Don't act like you didn't know it's weird. It is no surprise. Don't get you started. Beep beep! All aboard Kittyland train. Let's go.
I'm driving.
Right? Beep beep. All right. Well, do you guys have someone's say Gwen's? You want a board? Make it up there one day. One day we'll make it up there. So we'll be doing this again. If you guys have topics that you want to talk about, let me know, and we will absolutely do it. We're going to do some a dream live with Miss Jen. And so if you have questions on dreams, or you have dreams such as the Doink dream, perhaps,
Right.
any questions on dreams, she does really great dream interpretations. So we're going to do live with her on that. We are going to do some mental health on Work at Wednesdays. When do you need to sub, or do you plan? I am going to do some, but I don't know when I'm going to do that. I'm finishing up the calendar tonight to get it out for everybody. I just wanted to make sure if anybody else who wants to go live with us. Kittyland. We can. We can. It's a really wild place. Ask anybody.
Rebelland just has stone tablets.
That's right. Yeah.
Kittyland usually consists of dreams of wolves and crows and like messages. So, well, you're welcome anytime. Anytime. We're gonna start doing more. So I appreciate you. I hope you're well. All right, guys. You don't want to share your last crazy dream. I was on a combat patrol. Woke up. Well, that sounds like you need to get rid of some pent up energy. That's what that sounds
Right.
like.
A little bit, but
A
yeah.
little bit.
Why don't you just message it over and I'll let you know.
A little bit.
That'll be good.
So, but if you do have dreams, send them to myself, Rebel, or Jen, and we will get that on the list. And then if you're not over in Blend Your Spirit, it is a protected, safe group over on Facebook. You're welcome to join. That's where we're going to do a lot more, but we will continue to do the lives on here as well. And then I'll upload them onto YouTube and then post them within Blend Your Spirit too. So I hope you guys have a great night.
Put your name on your dream, then email it to Kitty. We'll set up a page or whatever if we can. You can send them in anonymous. That way You don't have to be like, oh yeah, that was me. You know, everybody knows because
And
I've had
don't
people
send
that
us your
don't
wet
want to do
dreams.
that.
We don't
So
want to know about
yeah, we don't
your
want the
wet
wet dreams. I
dreams.
mean,
We don't want to hear about your
no.
dreams of five
I'll tell you what your
girls,
fantasy
five
dream means,
boys.
but I don't need details. Yeah.
I don't either,
There we
Shane. I
go.
don't remember having mine, or I should say more like 3/4 of mine.
We
I just
want
know
dreams
mine
you
are
actually want interpreted. Yeah, no
Right.
splash, no splash pads. We don't want to know. We don't know. So yeah, but do send, and we can definitely do that and chit chat. And then if you guys have ideas as we continue to grow, shoot them our way. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks for
you.
having us.
All right, talk later. Bye.
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 Bye.